Hello and welcome everybody to my channel. I'm John. Today we're going to take the old 1970 Trail 70 out for one little going away ride. We're up here at our cabin in upstate New York, and this is where this bike has lived, along with the ATC 125 and ATC 70 in the back. It's lived up here for its entire life, except for a couple of short years down in Florida when I was kind of restoring it and using it as a pit bike for our car races for a couple of years. So with all that work done and it running good, we decided to bring it and the ATCs back up to their home in upstate New York in this little shed. And this is where I kind of grew up riding as a kid on these very machines, so having them back up here is kind of fun. So tried to make this a first kick bike in recent years, and we'll see if that works now. Second kick. So not too bad for a 51-year-old machine. Just kind of got a new carb from CHP, and, you know, just basic tune-up stuff, and new ignition inside of here. That was one of the main problems with it. And it goes through spark plugs fairly easily, but that's about the only thing. I don't really know why it does that, but so just changing out spark plugs here and there seems to do the trick. So we'll let it warm up and we'll get up on the trails. Okay, so this is the cabin community that I kind of grew up half my life in. Well, growing up in Long Island, New York. This is about 4 hours north, and some of the best little trail and wood riding country that I feel is at least within my realm of knowledge. I haven't trail ridden everywhere, but it's pretty nice riding up here. So we got some weather coming in today and kind of squeezing this ride in, and that's why it might seem pretty dark. So the Trail 70 is a pretty unique little bike. It's definitely trail worthy. I'm in first gear, as you can hear. It's having absolutely no trouble. The little 70cc going through these trails, and that's kind of how this bike was designed. And it's a funky little bike. The handlebars are real close together. It's, I don't know, the steering, it's odd. It doesn't have like a performance feel to it at all. It's kind of just like a wonky little funky 70s sort of trail bike. It fits the era of funkiness. I think it was kind of designed around being funky instead of performance minded, or you know, I don't know. It just seems like some things are designed to be funky, and this is one of it. So, but it doesn't mean that it's not sure-footed, and we're gonna put that to the test here in a minute. Gonna go up some pretty rocky trails and see just what the little trail can do. So as a kid, I rode the ATC 70 around here growing up, basically from 3 years old till early teens, until I moved to Florida. Didn't really come up here as much, but the trail bike had always been up here. My dad and his friends would ride it, and it was always something that never really ran correctly, so it didn't really get used all that much until the recent years when I brought it back to Florida. So while I know this bike spent a lot of time up here, I don't ever remember riding it a lot. So it might have been ridden more in the 70s as my mom and dad were younger, and they got it before I was born. I was born in 81, so this bike was around for about 11 years before I was even born. So probably a good 15 years they had it before I ever would have really wanted to ride it. So I think it got a lot of use from my parents and their friends, and I know it was even a pit bike for my father with his boat racing. But we're kind of putting it to the test. You can hear it. It's little 70cc is punching like crazy, so it is able to get up that pretty steep terrain, and that's the stuff I've been doing with the Trail 125, the brand new Trail 125 this week. So this bike kind of holds its own even with the more modern stuff. So it's pretty impressive that Honda was able to make such small bore bikes climb up stuff just by gearing, basically. So while this bike was actually street legal, it had a license plate, still has a license plate on it. So people actually registered these and license plated them and rode them around on the streets. So that's always a surprising thing to me, is that I don't even like taking the Grom Monkey and Trail 125 out on the roads because I don't feel they're really fast enough. Can you imagine trying to navigate the roads with the Trail 70? So one of the cool things about these small trails is the ability to just turn around really easy. We're coming, it's not the end of the trail, but it goes to somebody's yard, so I wanted to turn around, and I'll demonstrate that again. You can just really turn around very easily with these bikes. They're very, very small and very nimble, so that makes it easy work on a tight trail. Or this isn't really even a tight trail, but makes it easy, an easy bike to work with on the trails. And this is definitely a sit-down bike. It's not really a stand-up and ride bike. As I stand up and I feel as if I'm just towering over it. I'm really having to lean over. So it's not really a comfortable stand-up bike. So your attack mode and aggressiveness levels can only go so far on the little trail. It's a bike that's really just meant to be ridden slow and kind of pick your way through these little spots on these trails. It's not really a bike that you're gonna just blast through stuff with. More of a little leisurely jumper. And it does have brakes. It has two hand brakes. Left side's the rear, the right side's the front, and it also has a foot pedal rear brake too. So total panic mode. It's easy to find the brakes in this. You can just squeeze every lever that you have and you're gonna find a brake somewhere. But it really doesn't go that fast, so there's no real huge need for a lot of braking. Alright, so we're winding our way back down the trail, and it's a little slick, a little muddy, a lot of rocks up here, so it's really bumpy. But the suspension, the day one original suspension, still dampens most of the rocks. Alright, so now we're back on our main trail, and here's the more aggressive rocky hill climb section, so we'll see if we can't attack this. Second gear is really struggling, so we'll probably have to drop back down to first, which is actually a shift up. These gears are shift down, so you're neutral and then you shift it down to go to first, down to second, down to third, and there is no fourth. So like I was telling you, you can't really blast up stuff too easy with this bike because there's only 3 gears. So without all the gear selections, you really kind of have to stay in first and go slow up this steep technical stuff. And if you go to second, it's almost going to be a little bit too fast and too low. The spacing between the gears is kind of too wide. We'll pick our way through some of these little rock obstacles. So you can see I'm winding out first, so we'll go down a gear, go to second. There's some deer up there. And you see, the bike wants to go faster, but it doesn't really have the torque, so the gearing is kind of mismatched. The bike wants to go fast, but the motor doesn't have the torque to keep the momentum. So we got a decent little head of steam going, and we're through the technical part of the trail. Alright, so it's starting to rain out a little bit. Don't really want to get swamped, so we're just gonna try to take a pretty quick run back through these trails. get back to that cabin. This is going to be a rainy day. Try to hustle a little bike through some of these trails. Going down, it's going to be a lot easier than going up. It's a pretty rough ride. The little 70 doesn't do too bad. It gets up and moves when you ask it to. Alright, one last hard enduro challenge for the little 70 is this little cutover trail that we have over here, and that's going to be the end of my quick little trip. So we got a little log hop here. And as we emerge from the woods, the Trail 70 will hibernate for another year until we come back up to our cabin next year. So hope you guys enjoyed watching that, and have some more content from up here at the Trail 125 and the Husqvarna EE5. So if you like what you saw, give me a subscribe, give me a like, give me a comment, tell me what you liked, tell me what you didn't like, and thanks for watching.